Hi, my name is Jeff King. I reside in Boulder City, Nevada. I'm originally from Jackson, Michigan. I moved out here to Nevada about 8 years ago because the weather is much better out here. Today, I'm at Celebrity Cars in Henderson, Nevada at a car show with my 1974 Dodge Challenger Rally Pack. The car originally I bought when I was 18. I just graduated from high school, and obviously I had to look for a car. And back in those days in the early 80s, we could actually go through the newspaper and look for cars for sale. So I did that quite often. I was working a job that was paying pretty good for an 18-year-old. The minimum wage back then was like $3.10. I was making $5 an hour, living at home, and got to save my money. My mom let me save my money up. So about 3 months into that, in the summer of 1983, I had about $1,000 to spend on a car, and that was a good chunk of change for that time frame. So these late 70s, obviously we're rolling into the 80s, and things had kind of changed. The 70 cars were kind of trying to be a no-no. They wanted to downsize to four-cylinder type of cars, get rid of the V8. So these cars were pretty plenishable in front yards, backyards. They were just wanting to get rid of them. So we had a main drag we used to cruise called Michigan Ave, and I was riding with a buddy of mine, and this 1974 Challenger was for sale at an auto parts store, but they were closed. So I had to come back on a Saturday, and had to make a deal with the owner that owned the car. They were, like I said, just trying to get rid of these cars. So they were asking like $1,200 for the car. So a little comical story to this was I only had $1,000. So, I was trying to pull my negotiating power, say, hey, I'll give you $1,000. So he comes back with $1,050. So I had to go home and ask Mom for $50. And she was like, why do you even need that kind of a car? And I said, Mom, I just need $50. I'll pay you back. And she reluctantly, she gave me the $50 and went and purchased the car. So this is my first car, and went home with it. And so I had a lot of aspirations and dreams to obviously beef it up and create some horsepower, but I was kind of a little limited in my resources, but I had some dreams with the car. And the difference is when you got to buy your own car, you tend to take care of it. My parents couldn't afford to buy me one, so you tend to appreciate things. And just had a great love. I've been a Chrysler guy all my life. My dad was a Chrysler guy. My uncles, we grew up Chryslers. And, for our entertainment when I was little these were everyday cars. Went to the grocery store, went to work, and then on the weekends, we turned them into drag racing on the weekends. So that was a normal life for me back there. So as time went on and all those memories, I as an adult then, I wanted to live, the hot rodding around and having a cool hot rod type of car to drive around. So as time went on, it wasn't till really more the late 80s. We always went, car shows were pretty popular. So we go to a lot of Chrysler car shows, and I get a lot of ideas what I wanted to do. Learned from a lot of guys that were 30 years my senior that had knowledge in this stuff, and it wasn't for them and my Uncle John, who I wouldn't have never had this car today if it wasn't for my Uncle John. So it's a little emotional because, like I said, I wouldn't have had this car. It would have been gone a long time ago, but due to his patience and his free time, he never lacked. He always would give up things to make sure I was successful. So you appreciate that kind of stuff. And you just want to carry it on to your own kids, which I have, and grandkids. My grandkids probably love this car more than my kids do, but they're hoping to get this someday, so it'll be a while. But as time rolled on, this car was originally a 318 car, but I wanted some more horsepower, and you're pretty limited on a 318. So I could have went with a big block, but I happened to go through the newspaper and found a Dodge Challenger 74 for sale that had a 340 in it for like $500. So I went and talked to the guy and that owned it, and he was going through a divorce, so he didn't want to give his share half the money with his wife. So at that time, I had quite a cool stereo system in here, and he said, "I'll swap you the stereo system for the engine." And I said, "You got a deal," because the engines were kind of a little hard to come by, and the stereo I could replace anytime. So we made a trade, and I took the 340, and I bored it 30 over, punched the heads 202. Put a little bigger cam into it. It's like a 282 duration, 488 lift. So it's not radical. It's still got a good lobe and a little lobe to it. A little nice sound. And you still could cruise around and have pretty good performance. And it's backed up with a 727 transmission with a valve body shift kit in it. So she'll snap pretty good with followed up with 323 posi gears. The car is an automatic. It's a slapstick automatic. The car itself is a 1974 Rally Pack. Came with the RT hood, the strobe stripes on the door, and it came with the full tach cluster dash. That means you got the tachometer with this car. So really that was only the big options to a Rally Pack. Chrysler had cut off the RT name because of insurance reasons. If you had RT on your car, your insurance would double. So they eliminated that, went with the Rally Pack name, and just kind of gave you not really performance upgrades, but gave you looks upgrades. So as time has gone on for me, the car was originally a brown. It's called Cena. But when they advertised this car in '74, they advertised it as with the lemon twist yellow with the black vinyl roof. And then since I kind of had the vinyl roof, I always liked that look, and gets more attention with the yellow, and I think it looks better. With the base coat, clear coat paints today, you can get a lot deeper shine out of these paint jobs than you could back in the 70s when they were enamel and pretty dull. So the black and the brown I thought was kind of heavy with the car, where the yellow kind of gave it a little more of a sparkle to it. So I always kind of like that. But as time has gone along, it's been 41 years this summer in 2024. I finally this summer, I should say last year, was able to break the car down and repaint it, fix some of the rust spots. Being from Michigan, we had a lot of moisture back there, so these cars would kind of rust fairly well just sitting. So I finally, at this stage in the game, and I don't want to ever do it again, that I was able to restore the car, kind of put it back to original. As a kid, I jacked it up and had mag wheels. Actually, I put a sunroof in the car. But as you get a little older, you kind of hone yourself back into some originality, because it does add some value to the car as time goes on. It makes the car worth more money. And I'm not about the money for the car, because this is something I'm going to keep until I'm not here any longer, but whatever my kids want to do later on is fine. But one thing I wanted to show you is there was a couple add-ons you could do to this car. Now these were optional. It didn't come with the car, but it has the front split spoilers on it that you could add to the car. And also originally had the rally wheels, and I always liked the Magnum 500s, kind of the 5-spoke, kind of the Kreger style, but these are original style from Chrysler with the Goodyear polyglass tires. You can get the original tires from Goodyear that were the polyglass, so you could actually get the polyglass tread, or you can get the polyglass look on the side with the radial tread. I chose the radial tread. Being out here in Nevada is quite hot, and I think I get better grip with these tires. The strobe stripes is original to the car. Under the Rally Pack name, you will always get the strobe stripes to your car, and the RT hood. And then this also was an add-on that I did. This is called the Go Wing. So I added the spoiler to the rear of the car, give it a little extra look to it. But I eliminated the sunroof. I put all the kind of the original stickers back on the car, under the hood. Really got more original with the car to add more value. And the cool thing about these cars today, or even as time has gone on, is you go to these car shows, and a lot of us older guys, And some women, they get emotional with these cars just because it takes us back to a place when we were young, what we were doing. We can remember what we were doing. And these are just awesome memories. We just don't really have that anymore. We could go to the drive-ins. We had drive-in movies. We had the drive-in malt shops and burger joints where you could drive your car in, order your food from the car. So a lot's changed. So it gets emotional, very emotional with these cars. So I'm fortunate, I'm lucky. I've stayed with it. This engine has come out in and out many times. I know this car like the back of my hand. I've worked on every part of this car. And I got to learn a lot from my uncle, from my dad, because we were kind of constantly under the hood. Unlike today, you almost can't really work on them, but back in those days and even currently, that's the fun part about these cars, is that it's an enjoyment. It doesn't have to be frustrating. It can be, but there's always somebody that's got some talent, some knowledge, and we're always kind of hanging on to the past, as we do when we come to these car shows. And people come out to see this. This is history. So it's been real fun, very fun.